What is up, guys? We are back with another video. Um, I just I read a comment just now on a video that I posted like 3 videos ago, or maybe it was 4. I think it was like 3 videos ago, and it's entitled "You Are Way Too Comfortable." And I was reading through the comments like I always do whenever I get a video that is like lightning in a bottle and it gets that much viewership. I was, reading through the comments and stuff. And this guy said, I am very much a conservative and I very much love Donald Trump, but I still love you and I support your right to freedom of speech. I'm paraphrasing. They said, first they said, I support your right to freedom of speech. I still love you and wish you would at least hear out the other side with an open mind. And I was thinking, bro, that is one of the most civilized comments I've ever gotten on any YouTube video ever from somebody that disagrees with me. Most of the people on my channel who disagree with me will call me a mean name. And then when I call them out, they disappear. They're just fucking trolls and they're like ants to me. And they're like one of those fucking little frou-frou dogs that just keeps fucking humping your leg and you just can't get rid of them because they're just such a goddamn pest. That's what I'm gonna come fucking. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It was a joke. But anyway, it was weird because I was like, okay, most people that leave a hate comment on my videos, I'm assuming they lean more toward the right politically. But I just kind of assume that. I don't actually know how they lean politically because I didn't ask them, right? It didn't come up in the conversation. So I just kind of assumed that they were a Republican. Because most of the people who watch my videos are men between the ages of 25 to 35. Now, of all of those people, I don't know how they lean politically. I don't know. This isn't a political channel. Like I don't talk politics on here. I just don't. It's not what this channel is about. And this is not going to be a political channel. If I ever wanted to make a political channel down the road, I would do that, but I'm not going to do that, at least for now. Maybe sometime down the road, but not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. But it was interesting to me because, like, I don't know how they lean politically. They could all lean to the right. Every single one of them. And I wouldn't know because it's not like I take polls of my audience. So for those of you who don't know, or might not know, I'm pretty far to the left. I am essentially an anarchist at this point. Anarchy is like to the left of communism. Because with anarchy, there is no system of governance at all. There's nothing. There's no government, no legislature, no nothing. And so I'll get into that more in depth in a later video, but that's not what this video is about. I think I just kind of assumed that the people who like me and who watch me and support me are, to the left of center. But I think that might be a flaw on my end. Because I think that a lot of people, they get stuck in these echo chambers, right? And they can't hear anything from the other side without screaming from the rooftops. I think if you disagree with that assessment, then you are not paying enough attention, my friend. This country has been divided for quite some time. I think a lot of people believe, they tend to have this belief that Trump was the one that started the divide, in the United States. He was the one who did it. We were great up until that point. There was no racism, no misogyny, no homophobia of any kind. There was no violence. There was no workplace discrimination. There was no unfair criminal justice system. There was none of that. And then Trump got in there and he fucked it all up. Nobody believes that. Nobody really believes that. And the people who tell you they believe that are either crazy, stupid, or both. They either don't live in the same reality as the rest of us, or they're stupid. One of the two. But anyway, I say that to say that I think we all are biased to a large extent. I think most people are set in their ways. But there's a lot of people on the right and the left who are willing to change their mind on something if they're proven wrong. You know? Because I had a friend, right? When I worked at Harris Teeter, I had a friend who was very Republican. He knew what my beliefs were. I knew what his beliefs were. And it was never an issue. I had another friend that was the same way when I all those years ago when I was like, I don't know, 22, 23 maybe, give or take. I had a guy that I worked, a coworker of mine that, him and I used to go out to lunch on our lunch break. We'd go eat together like once, twice a week, sometimes every day, and there was speculation from the some of the older guys that work there that we had a thing going on. Stop it. But we were really good buddies, and he was a Trump supporter and I'm not, and we got along. We were friends. It was never an issue. And the thing is, we didn't talk about it. It's just really weird to me that there are people out there who base their entire friendship with another person purely based on how they feel politically or socially. Where they lean, if they're left of center or right of center. I think that's really fucking petty. I think that's really stupid. And if you're out there doing that, shame on you. Shame on you. I have a pretty open mind for the most part, but there are a lot of things that I'm not willing to falter on, and I think everyone feels that way. But, I think everybody could stand to be a little more open-minded, maybe. And the thing is, even if you don't agree with someone, at least try to understand, where they're coming from. Life is too short to walk through it angrily. That's how I look at all of this, man. Like, it's amazing to me how fucking temperamental a lot of people are about what they believe and why they believe it. Like, you would think that if people who get outraged about, criticism from the other side, whether it be right or left, you would think that if they were strongly held enough in their beliefs that they wouldn't get so rattled and they wouldn't get so angry and they wouldn't get so out of shape. But they do. So, what does that tell you? It tells me that a lot of people just want to be part of a club. Especially with the two-party system. You basically have two sides of the same shitty coin. They're both, crony capitalistic. They're both corrupt as fuck. They are both in bed with all of the same corporations and power brokers that wield all the power to begin with. They all produce all the same sociopathic Nepo babies who just want your vote and literally just want your attention because they feed off of your energy. I hate politicians, all of them equally. I think they're all full of shit. Every last one of them. You mean to tell me that you admire a person with millions of dollars who probably has daddy's money and has never had to really work or struggle a day in their life? You admire that person who is all the way up here, live in a totally different reality than you. You feel like you can relate to them more than your neighbor? or more than your sphere of influence, more than your coworkers. You can relate to them more than the people you work at your job with, for instance, or that live across the street from you or next door to you. You feel like you can relate to those people. You know, this is Democrat or Republican, either one. You will always have more in common with your neighbors than you will with any fucking politician on Capitol Hill. Always. Whether it's Trump or Kamala or Obama or whoever it doesn't matter. You will always have more in common with your community than with politicians. Because they're really just puppets. They're just kind of put there as a distraction. You know, politicians are put there to give you the illusion that you have more freedom of choice than you actually do in this country. That's why they're there. So that's why I think it's really silly for people to argue about politics. As always, if you enjoyed my ramblings, be sure to give this video a like and comment and share and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And hit the notification bell so that you don't miss my beautiful face every time I upload. And I will see you all again in the next video. Peace, love, and light.